Hi, I'm Debra, business owner and mom to Gen Z kids on a mission to make sure they get hired and become financially independent as soon as possible. If you're a parent wanting to get your kids hired or a new job seeker desperately trying to get hired, this show is for you, and I am so glad you're here. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I am thrilled to introduce today's guest. She's a college senior who's truly paved her own way to success by making the most of every single opportunity available. What she's accomplished is exceptional and a blueprint of what every student can strive towards. She's here to share her journey, including how she secured an incredible job offer 6 months before graduation. She'll walk us through the exact steps, strategies, and resources that helped her reach this milestone. Parents, this is a story you won't want to miss. And for any college student listening, get ready to take notes. Without further ado, please welcome Shannon Storer. So Shannon, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to be interviewing you today. This is like a full circle moment because I feel like I've known you since you were much younger, since you and my boys went to elementary school together.
Yeah.
So this is amazing that I'm getting this opportunity to see you now head out into the real world and hear
Oh,
about all your successes. So the whole point of this discussion today is I want my audience to hear from a student perspective how you've done what you've been able to do and literally share that journey with us. So first of all, welcome.
thank you. I'm so excited to be here. You're so right. It is coming full circle. So I'm so excited and I'm so happy to be part of
Yay!
this. So
I
yay.
know. And sidebar for those listening, I love Shannon's mom. Her and I are dear friends. So this is just so special to be able to interview her. So,
Oh,
okay. So, first of all, you are graduating from Baylor University in the spring,
yes.
and you are a double major and a
Yep.
minor, and you have a certificate. So,
Yes.
first of all, I need you to explain because that I have no words. It is so impressive. So, tell me about your double major, your minor, your certificate. I want to hear what they are, and then I want to hear how you actually landed on that academic journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I chose a major in marketing because I really love problem solving, especially using creative and out of box thinking. I really found that I grew the most while working in a team as well, and then working on strategies where there's no really set one right answer. And then I also decided to do another major in management because I had to take a management course anyway as a part of the business school requirements. And I absolutely loved it. So I did a lot of research into looking into how I could add that as a major, and I did. So I also minored in leadership because I just wanted to learn how best I can serve others and also discuss topics again that allow for diverse thinking where there isn't really one set right answer. And I really think that plays well into my main major of marketing and management as well. Just how can I better be a team player and serve others and grow and hear from others too? So, my certificate in global business actually came really recent because I have a passion and really wanted to study abroad. So, as a senior, I was like, how can I study abroad? How can I do this? I do not want to graduate without studying abroad at least once. So, I decided to do a lot of research with, okay, how can I study abroad? And I am studying abroad in the winter. So I'm
Oh,
super excited
wow.
for that. Yeah, no, totally excited for that.
How
But
long is that duration?
yeah, so it is about 2 weeks, and
Okay.
I'm going to be visiting a few different countries. So I'm going to be visiting Italy, France, Switzerland, Austria. So I'm super excited, super excited.
Wow, what a wonderful
Yeah.
opportunity. That's
No,
awesome.
so excited. And actually, it's funny. The business certificate, I was not planning at all to have on my transcript. I literally, my goal was to study abroad, and that's it. And I ran into kind of this issue of, okay, in order to study abroad, I need to take a class as well. And the classes that they offered, since I'm a senior, I already took them. And there was only one class that I was actually able to take that I hadn't already taken before. The problem with that is that that one class didn't count towards any of my majors or my minors. So it was kind of a problem because it was like, okay, do I really want to spend the time and spend the money
Mhm.
into taking a class that doesn't count for anything when I could really be taking a class that does count during this winter semester. So there was kind of that problem there that I was trying to figure out, but I ended up landing on a business certificate because I just did a lot of research onto like, okay, how can I make this class count? How can I make studying abroad worthwhile, worth my time, worth my energy, everything, right? And I ended up talking with Study Abroad. And the problem with the global certificate is that it needs 12 hours worth of courses. So that's 4 courses that I would need to take. And I'm
Oh,
already a
wow.
senior. I'm already graduating in the spring. I don't have time to take on all those courses. So what I did was I asked questions and I was like, hey, what about courses I've taken in the past that have to do with international business? Can I maybe get an exception to that, or can I fill out a form or a waiver to get those to count? And I ended up getting 9 hours out of the 12 to count. And now that course that didn't count towards any of my majors or my minors is going to complete my global business certificate and end up on my transcript. So
Okay,
that's
wait, I gotta pause right there because I am literally blown away. Wait, okay, now, first I need to back up and just clarify. You have done the double major, the minor, and the certificate all within 4 years, not
yes,
not a minute longer. Okay, important to
right.
note. Okay, also, I need to know when you said you got an exception, first of all, kudos to you for crusading for yourself. That is absolutely incredible, and you are wise beyond your years, Shannon, because I just I mean, good for you. That's amazing. So tell me about that. Did you actually just go to your counselor or what was that process like? Because I think things like this, students don't even realize they can do. Like
Right.
they would go, wait, that's not an option for me and I can't do it. And they'd move on. So tell me about how you pursued that exception.
So I talked about it with my counselor. I talked about it with the Study Abroad Center, and they had me fill out a form. I had to fill out one form per class. Eventually, I got 9 hours approved, and that one
Oh my
class that
God.
I'm taking
Okay.
abroad is
So
going to
I need to
complete it.
understand. You basically created an argument that made sense for yourself of, hey, I've already done this coursework in these classes. Will this be applicable towards this? And can I create a reason to have an exception is essentially what you did. And
Yeah.
you communicated that via email and in person to your counselor and the study abroad program.
Yep. And now I have a
So
global business certificate, something that I wasn't even looking for.
wow. Did they do that? Did they call that carve out the Shannon store exception? Because that is literally what they need to do. That is unbelievable. Good for you. That's so incredible because I mean, for goodness sakes, that makes sense. And you created a compelling argument.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it just, so literally doing the research, it opens the door to so many things. Because same way I did the research for this business certificate, I did research and figured out what degree audits were.
Okay,
Which,
so I need you to
yes,
pause and explain to
yes.
everyone what it because I have seen degree audits for Max, my oldest son,
Hmm.
and I have run degree audits like in his account. Like I want to see, wait, I want to make sure he's graduating on
Yeah.
time because I'm
Yeah.
checking to make sure that this is all dialing in financially. And so I find them to be daunting. So I need you to explain to everybody what a degree audit is and then how you've used it to your advantage.
Yeah. So a degree audit essentially, it tells you all the requirements you need in order to graduate. It just essentially gives you a framework of like, hey, these are all the requirements you need to complete in order to get a degree. Essentially, degree audits are perfect for if you want to just go in and see, okay, if I take this class, this will count for this requirement. And from there, you can actually start planning out your schedule of like, okay, I'm going to take these classes in the fall, these classes in the spring. If I want to take a summer class, these specific classes I can take during the summer will count towards my degrees. Just different things like that is what essentially a degree audit, just basic, will tell you.
Hmm.
Which,
Mhm.
if you really learn how to utilize it, it's a huge, huge resource. Because
Wow.
yeah, no, it's amazing. And then how I added on another major and another minor is through what if degree audits. So I was
Oh.
able to see, okay, what if I wanted to major in marketing and management? What if I wanted to major in marketing and management and minor in leadership studies? And I entered that in, and it gave me a whole plan of, okay, here is all the requirements you need in order to graduate with a major in this, a major in this, and a minor in that. And these are all the classes that are offered in order to fill these requirements. And from there, I was able to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to plan to take these classes. And I actually ended up discovering that, oh my gosh, this class that I have to absolutely take for management either way also counts towards my minor in leadership studies.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Mhm. It
So,
ended,
so then, because we talked about how you've been able to do all this miraculously in 4 years, and it's
yeah.
just, I mean, your parents must be overjoyed. It's amazing. But so, with that being said, were you taking more than 15 units a semester?
No, I took,
Wow.
yeah, I took 16 hours every semester. The max amount of hours that I took was 16. I never went to
You never went
18
crazy.
or nothing
Okay.
crazy. I did do summer classes though, which also
Okay.
wasn't super crazy. I did some summer classes over at a community college too, which also helped a ton. I mean, it doesn't count towards your GPA at all either, and it counts as a transfer credit, and you're golden. But I know every
Wow.
university has different
Different
standards,
stipulations.
procedures for
Yeah.
that. But oh my gosh, it was so much cheaper, so much easier because you know those harder classes, like for example, I took calculus over the summer, classes that I really wanted to focus on because I knew they would be harder. It
Yeah.
was
Smart.
really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I am just blown away. Okay, so incredible, incredible out of the gate. Okay, so here's my next question.
Yeah,
Um, so let's talk about networking while in school. I'm assuming
right.
that you have utilized every resource available to you. Clearly, you've already explained how much of a crusader you are for your own journey. So tell me a little bit about how you leveraged Baylor's networking opportunities and what networking opportunities were at your school. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I leveraged, yeah, a ton of opportunities at Baylor, especially for networking. Baylor really equips you with resources like JobScan, Handshake, LinkedIn workshops, resume workshops, all the things. And then they also have career fairs, which is huge, right? Because then you get to go and make an impression on an employer like in person and actually meet them. But it's also super important to use the resources of like, hey, making sure your handshake's up to date, making sure your resume is good, making sure it's looked at by the career center or by even professors, anybody, to make sure it is golden and set. And then also making sure your LinkedIn is good to go, right? And then just different things like that. And then making sure your elevator speech is down, right? So um, then you get to go to these career fairs and it'll show when you meet the employer and you have everything down, you got your resume, you got your LinkedIn, you got everything, you'll know what you're talking about, right? And
Mhm.
it'll show to the employer that, okay, you came prepared and you made an impact and you stand out. So at that point, you're already past whatever AI system you
Mhm.
had to get
Yes, you
in
have
order,
warm
yeah.
contacts. It's so
Mhm.
important. Yes.
Yeah. Because with just submitting an application to a job,
Mhm.
it could just be rejected immediately just because
Right.
the AI was like, oh, I didn't find this keyword in there. Right.
Correct.
Which is why
Yes.
job scan is also super important because you get
Yes.
to essentially just copy and paste your resume and the job description and it'll tell
Mhm.
you, okay, you need more of this in order to get
Mhm.
past the AI system. But even then, it's like you never know, right? So that's why it's super important to utilize those resources of resume building and different things, whatever what your university offers. And then if you get the opportunity to actually appear in person and do a networking event in person with an employer, it's huge and you'll stand out simply because, oh, she has her LinkedIn ready. She has a great resume that matches, LinkedIn, and her handshake profile's up to date. Perfect. Right. So,
Okay, so let me elaborate a little bit on that. So,
yeah.
first of all, for those listening, Handshake essentially it's like a LinkedIn networking resource for college students. So, employers that are looking to hire college students go to LinkedIn or go to Handshake to post jobs. And that's a really great resource to use. And
Mhm.
every school, I was just reading a statistic, I think 1,500 universities use Handshake, like they're contracted with them. And those that don't, I'm sure use something similar. But those resources I feel like are invaluable. And I'm finding so many students that like do so well in school, graduate with honors, come home and go, okay, I guess I'll start looking for a job. And it's like, No, it's too late. Like you missed all those networking opportunities because
Mhm.
now you have no warm contacts. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody got to meet you. So, talk to me about that. So, when you would go to these job fairs, I'm assuming you're dressed professionally,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
Did you also bring copies of your resume to hand a physical copy to
Mhm.
someone? Okay.
Absolutely. And that is so important too. I love how you mentioned you dress professionally because
Mm-hmm.
that matters. I was at a dinner event. A company invited a few students from the career fair to attend a dinner event. And
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about how at different universities, some people will come to these job fairs and they'll be in sandals or in
Mm-hmm.
shorts. And they're like, that's interesting, So it's so important. Dress to impress, especially
Yes.
when you're in front of an employer. You want to make a good impact, not a bad one, a good impression,
For
right?
sure. For sure. Okay, so clearly you've nailed that and you got an internship. Now, was your first internship this past summer?
Yes, my first internship
Okay.
was this past.
So you don't have to share the name of the company if you're not comfortable with it. So tell us about the internship, what your responsibilities were, what skills or insights did you gain from the experience, and how did you so first, I guess I'm jumping ahead. Tell us how you landed the internship and then what you did at the internship.
Yeah, so I found out about the internship opportunity through Handshake. So that
Okay.
was a big one. And then I applied and went through the interview process, stuff like that. And I was lucky enough, I got the offer and I was so excited. And the actual internship was absolutely fantastic. I learned so much. Like I learned how to use like different CRM tools, which are customer relationship management tools.
Hmm.
I got to interview key leaders that within my vertical, and I got to work on competitive intelligence files, and I got to work on just a ton of different research. And I worked with such an incredible team. It was amazing. I learned a lot of hard skills. Especially through LinkedIn learning classes too, because I had access to LinkedIn learning classes. So I really utilized that. But I also strengthened like soft skills, such as like creative thinking and collaboration. So yeah, it was really amazing and eye-opening.
Okay,
For
so
sure.
they definitely so first of all, let me ask you, was this a paid internship or unpaid?
Yes, paid
Paid. Okay.
paid
So
trip.
they didn't hold back on, oh, she doesn't really know what she's doing. Let's just have her do remedial skills. They really had you
Yeah.
ingratiated into the role and you were full-fledged learning
Yep.
everything.
It was
Wow, what an
essentially,
opportunity.
yeah, it was essentially like what I made out of it, right? Because I
Of course,
definitely
isn't
could have,
everything, Shannon.
yep. Yep, it is what I made of it. And that was like a huge learning curve because it's just like, hey, you need to like step up and and ask questions too.
Yeah,
I feel like
sure.
so many people and I get it, trust me, I was definitely one of those kids in class who was afraid of asking questions because I don't want to look dumb, right? But no, it is
Right.
so important. And I love to use this analogy too that my professor told me because he's like, hey, when you're in college, especially if you're an intern, employers look at you like you're a kitten, right? But he's like, once you graduate and once you're in, a higher role or whatever, you're a cat.
Right.
So when you're a kitten, you want to use as many like or ask as many questions as you can and learn as much as you can. There's no stupid questions, seriously. It is so important because the last thing you want to do is later on you didn't ask the question and it comes to haunt you later.
Yeah,
Like,
no kidding.
seriously.
Well, did they ever have you working autonomously where they were like, "Hey Shannon, we need you to do X and figure this out on your own." Did you ever have to like research, "Oh shoot, I wasn't given exact step by steps. How am I going to like figure out how to navigate this on my own?" Did you have any of that as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I worked with a tool called Salesforce, and
Oh,
I
yes.
had not known how to use Salesforce at all. But I also made that clear. I was also very honest. I was like, hey, I
Yeah.
haven't heard of that before. I haven't used it before, but that was totally okay. They were definitely fine with that. And they gave me the resources, obviously, to do well. But I also did learning on my own. Like, for example, I would go on a LinkedIn learning class and do some research beforehand. And when I was having a meeting with someone in our department who was very skilled in Salesforce, before that meeting, I would do research and, mess around with Salesforce in general of like, oh, what did these different things do? Or how do I do this? So that way, when the actual meeting came for me to learn, I was able to ask questions of like, hey, I actually do understand this portion, but I don't understand this other portion versus just kind of sitting and waiting around. And then when the meeting
Yeah.
happens, it's like all of this is so new, fresh, and so
They must have been blown away that they had a college student that was this proactive and engaged. I mean, they must have been like, hey, we need to make sure we hire her the second she graduates. So, okay, I'm so inspired by your entire
Aw.
experience. This is amazing, Shannon. Okay, so now I need to know tell me about how you followed up post it. So the internship was, I'm assuming the whole summer, right? Like a May
Yes.
through July situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So post internship, what did you do? You said thank you so much for the opportunity, and now you left, and what did you do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Before I left, I sent thank you letters to every single person that
I
I
have
worked.
to ask, were they written notes like a card, or did you email?
Email. They were
Okay.
emails.
And
Because
to
we had
each individual person.
Yep. And it didn't matter if I had only known them because, oh, we were on a call every week together and we were just in like a group meeting type of thing. No, I sent a personal thank you to every single one of them, and they all responded and they all connected with me on LinkedIn, and they
Okay.
all
Wow.
were so amazing and awesome. And yeah, that's another thing. I made sure I connected back with them on LinkedIn and stayed in touch.
So
And
you took the time to like note something specific about each individual person. So you weren't sending some boilerplate
yeah,
annoying email. And
right.
they were like, oh my gosh, wow, we really enjoyed working with Shannon. She referenced X, Y, and Z. Okay. First, tell me also, was this internship in person or was it remote?
So it was hybrid.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I was 2 days in person. So I think that's another thing that stood out to them too, maybe because I had a commute. I had an hour and 30-minute commute that I would go
Oh,
in
wow.
person and drive. Yeah. So for when I had to be in person, I would go and they were like, oh my gosh. And I would always be on time though, and
Of
I'd
course.
always be the last to leave too. So made
Wow,
sure
Shannon.
that, but I loved it. It was so great. I wanted to be there and I just soaked up every minute I could. Like it was just such a fantastic experience, and it was everything that I basically made it to be because in the workforce it's not like school where it's like, okay, we're going to give you an assignment, we're going to tell you exactly how to do it, what to do, when it's due, and whether or not it's the right answer or you got the right answer, because it's just like in the workforce that's just not how it is. There's no one right answer, and there's nobody
Mhm.
sitting there like holding your hand of like, okay, like this is what you need to do next, or this is, we'll have office hours about it, stuff like that.
Right, right. You have to figure it out on your own. Okay, so you followed up post internship with, email thank you notes, connecting on LinkedIn, engaging, building relationships, keeping those contacts warm. Now I
Yes.
need to know, what did that actually do? So now fast forward, you did they have a actual job opening for you to apply for after graduation? What happened?
So what happened is I ended up getting a full-time offer with them postgraduate. Yep, I didn't have to
Wow.
apply again. I didn't have to interview. The team that I was on that I interned with wanted me back on. So
So what you're saying is your internship actually turned into a first career opportunity.
yep, a full
Wow.
position. Yeah.
Shannon, pause for the standing ovation. That is exactly what's supposed to happen when everything goes right. That is incredible. What an amazing opportunity. Okay, so now I need to know, and again, you don't have to reveal the company. I just would like to know what your role will be, what you'll be doing, and tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to be a business development specialist at a global marketing agency, and I am
Wow.
absolutely thrilled about it. I'm so excited to start my career and what it entails. I'm going to be on the same team as I was with my internship, probably doing similar things, and I'm just so
Oh my
excited.
goodness.
So
That
it's
is incredible. Okay, now I also, because I know you, I know this other little tidbit that is pretty special too, which was you were also accepted into a very prestigious master's degree program. I know you had a decision to make.
yes.
Do I
Yep.
go and do the prestigious master's degree immediately out of school, or do I take the incredible job opportunity? What did you decide?
I decided to take the job offer because
Wow.
I know I'm just so excited to grow professionally and have work experience and see what that's like. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it was such a hard decision though, because I really, that was my dream program. And
And what
it
an honor to
actually,
be accepted into your dream
yeah,
program. Absolutely. And but Shannon, that doesn't get taken away. You will always have been accepted to your dream
yeah,
program. And it's so,
true.
I mean, easy for me to sit here and say, as a mom, I would want my kids to take the job 150 times over the master's degree, just
Hmm.
because obviously, in my experience, I would say, well, this company will likely pay for you to get a master's at some point anyway. And
Right.
if you have the opportunity to start your career and gain experience right out of the gate, that is incredible and rare, because I can't tell
Mhm.
you how many students. I just read a statistic the other day, and I think it was like 50, God, I can't remember the number. It was an alarming number.
Yeah.
57% of college graduates graduate with no job offer.
Yeah.
That's frightening, because the whole point of going to college is to leverage you into your career. And as a parent, I'm a big advocate of return on investment. I want
Mhm.
ROI, and I want to see my kids leveraged into an opportunity where they can like start their life and support themselves and get off
Right.
my payroll. So, but Shannon, I just think that's so special and so incredible that you applied to a prestigious master's program, were accepted, and then still smart enough to take the job. Wow. Way to go, girl.
Thank you so much.
You are incredible. Okay. So now I need to ask you, and I know you touched on this a little bit, but advice for younger students. What would you tell any students or parents of students listening to my show of how these students can basically end up in your situation? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, oh my gosh. I would say just take advantage of the resources that you have in college. Just seriously. Like I say with the analogy of the cat, like you're in college, you're looked at as a kitten, but once you graduate again, you're a cat and you don't have those resources anymore that you had in college. So definitely use them. Whatever your college provides, definitely take advantage. Research, 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 run degree audits. Definitely run one. I cannot preach that enough. I love degree audits. And then get to know your professors. I would not be where I am today without my professors.
So you've told them about your job offer?
I have, yes, I
I'm sure they are
did.
overjoyed for you.
They are. They definitely
Yes. Oh
are.
my God. What a testament to the program. Wow. I can't wait to see what you do. You're going to do such big things, and I'm going to hear all about it from your mom. So
Oh, thank you. I
good job.
appreciate
Great job, Shannon. Well, thank
it.
you so much for coming on the show and for taking the time to share all this intellectual property with all these parents and students that are hopefully listening, but likely are not. But parents, I think it's a really, really, really testament to making sure your kid is involved and being engaged in their programs and everything the university has to offer. Shannon, I'm so grateful for your time, and truly, thank you so, so much for taking the time to do this with me.
Thank
I'm so
you.
grateful.
I'm so grateful to be here. I appreciate it a ton.
Well, thanks so much for listening. Shannon's story is a fantastic reminder of what's possible with intentional planning, proactive networking, and making the most of each and every opportunity. I hope her story inspires you to encourage your student to do the same. And as always, if you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend, as it truly does help me so much. Have a great week, everyone. Talk to you soon.